This is the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, where I strategize with business owners on how to grow and scale their businesses to hit their income goals. This is episode 177 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today I'm talking to Jenny Peterson, and we're going to be diving into 4 tactics for building a successful Facebook business page. Now, the interesting thing about the tactics that Jenny and I are going to talk about are that they would apply for both Facebook as well as Instagram. So everything that you're going to hear in this episode, you're going to be able to use for Instagram as well. Now, Jenny in this episode shares a great freebie that you're going to want to make sure that you pop over to the show notes to get with 50 titles that are going to be attention grabbing that are going to help your Facebook and Instagram posts do that much better. Now, before we dive into this episode, I want to make sure that you have already grabbed your copy of Influencer Entrepreneurs, my new book, for the 4-step framework for building an audience, growing your business, and making money online. You can get this over on Amazon or Barnes & Noble and have it delivered right to your doorstep if you haven't already. We are going to be actually touching a little bit on some of the strategies that I teach in this book because Jenny has a very similar philosophy to me as far as when it comes to influencer marketing. All right, guys, let's dive in. All right. Hi, Jenny. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Hi. Good. Thank you so much for having me on.
I am so excited to dive into your business. Can we get started by just talking a little bit about who you are and tell us a bit about your businesses?
Yes. I'm Jenny Peterson, and I've been married for 16 years now. My husband and I, we started off with we have our own brick and mortar business. We've had our own brick and mortar business for about 13 years. And I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I worked so hard to get out of that business so I could be a stay-at-home mom. I have 3 kids. And honestly, I feel guilty saying, but when I became a stay-at-home mom, I just didn't feel fulfilled. I was like missing something. I felt like I was missing a piece of myself. And so 6 years ago, I started my online business, and fast forward 6 years later, here I am. And I teach other mamas how to build a business that they can work from anywhere, work from their cell phones, and enjoy being their kid's mom.
I love it. And I definitely understand what you're saying about wanting to stay home with kids and then realizing, I'm missing a piece of myself here. Let's try a little bit something and add it to the plate. So can you tell us a little bit about your brick and mortar? Did it have anything to do with online business?
The brick and mortar business?
Yes.
Not really. We own a pest control business. We're in 10 locations around the U.S. It's one of the fastest growing pest control companies in the U.S. We've been on the Inc. 5000 the last 2 years in a row. And not really. It's like a door-to-door sales team and totally different from my online business.
Okay. No, that's perfect. I'm always interested to see if there's some sort of connection because sometimes, brick and mortar can also have that kind of falling into using Instagram or using the online presence. So what was the first online business that you got into?
So when I got started in network marketing, and I started my own beauty business 6 years ago.
Very good. Now, how are you still working that side of your business? Do you have multiple network marketing that you're involved in, or what does it look like?
Yes. So I am still with my company. I'm a top leader for Younique, and I also have branched out. I feel like I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I've branched out and I do affiliate marketing now and influencer marketing. And I also have my own online course where I teach business owners how to start, grow, and actually make money from their Facebook business pages and from social media.
Okay. So I'm glad that you brought up Facebook business pages because you sent me a screenshot last night of your recent post and you were just getting a ton of traction over there, which I think a lot of business owners are going to be interested in, because it does often feel like businesses' pages get stifled. So I'd love to hear some of like your top strategies that you feel like you use for your business page to really get in front of your audience.
Yes, I would love to talk about business pages. So I think the biggest thing is being consistent. And I know that everybody says consistency is key, but seriously, if you want to grow on any social media platform, you have to show up every single day. You have to be consistent. It's really hard to grow following anywhere if you're not showing up. And kind of like with my brick and mortar business, if we were to run that, like a lot of people run their Facebook business pages, like so inconsistently, we wouldn't have any customers. So really, number one, I think is just be consistent. Okay. And then number two, if you look at my Facebook business page, I sell a lot using live video. And I think live video is a huge resource. I mean, we live in the best time right now. Where else, with the click of a button, can we reach literally millions of people, millions of our ideal customers with a click of a button without even leaving our homes? And going live and building those relationships with your online customers and your online audience really, really is where the sales are at.
Okay. So I'm glad that you brought up the live. And I kind of want to go back a little bit to your first part about being consistent. So what does that look like on a daily basis? Are you going live every single day, going multiple times? Are you also doing other feed posts to your business page? What is your kind of schedule, I guess, for your business page?
Okay, so when you get into my schedule and people ask about live video, I think that being consistent is better than inconsistent, because people say, well, when should I go live? How often should I go live? And I would recommend picking one day a week, same time, same day, every single week. Think about it like your own show, your own TV show. I go live every single Wednesday, same time, every single week. My followers know that. And then I go live throughout the rest of the week, but they always know Wednesday, Jenny's going to be here for a Win It Wednesday and have a live video for us.
Okay. And what does that video, you said Win It Wednesday, is that what you just called it?
Yes. Yes. I do a giveaway every Wednesday too, because I think that really helps. That helps people share the video out. And honestly, if you're consistent with that, your following gets used to, as soon as you go live, they share, because they know you're doing a giveaway. And I want to give them, it's a little way for me to say, thank you for sharing my video out. That's like the holy grail on Facebook, is getting those shares and that organic growth. And I also do something where I have a share goal. So I'll tell them, hey, every 100 shares, I'm going to give away an Amazon gift card. And if we don't hit 100 shares, I don't do a giveaway. But when we do, I do. And it's great. So just being really consistent with how you're rewarding your online audience too, I think helps.
Okay. And what does your content look like when you do go live? Are you talking about specific strategies? Like what would a typical Win It Wednesday look like?
Whether you're a seasoned podcaster or just thinking of starting a podcast, you need to listen to Buzzcast from the folks at Buzzsprout. Here we go! Buzzcast covers everything a podcaster should know, from marketing strategies and how to make money from your podcast to the latest and greatest tech and industry insights to keep you on the cutting edge. Follow Buzzcast by clicking the link in the description or go to buzzcast.buzzsprout.com and keep podcasting.
So Win It Wednesday, honestly, if you went to my page, it looks like me talking to my best friends, to be honest. And I think that's where you want, at least for me, that's where I want to get with my online audience, is where they feel like they know me. They love me. A lot of people say no, like, trust. I say no, love, trust. I want them to love me. And then they trust me. And people buy products from people who they know, love, and trust. In network marketing, people join teams of people who they feel like they know, love, and trust. And they share the video out and they trust you with their network when they feel like they know you, they love you, and they trust you. And so honestly, when I go live, I pretend like I'm talking to my best friends, and it's honestly not pretending, because I really am. They know everything about me, and I'm selling, but it doesn't feel like selling because I'm just talking about the things that I absolutely love and why I love them. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. It's the way that I think about influencing. Influencing is really just kind of talking about something that, like you said, that you love, and then they automatically are interested in wanting to know more. So when you're doing live, do you also use the beauty products so that you can kind of show them what they do? Will you do your makeup while you're talking to them, or is it just a conversation?
Oh no, I absolutely do demos every single day. So I'll demo my beauty products. I actually struggle with rosacea. It's my biggest insecurity. And so to show up on video with no makeup on, that that didn't just happen overnight. But it's something that I do now, which is crazy because I don't even leave the house without makeup on. And then do hair tutorial videos or try on hauls. And like you said, influencing, I really feel like, especially as women, we're like natural born influencers. I really think that anybody can be an influencer because we've been doing it our whole lives. Like I influence my 7-year-old son to eat vegetables every day. I influence my kids to clean their rooms, but we think about sales and it feels weird when we're like, oh, I'm not a salesperson. And I used to tell my husband that. He tried to get me to sell for our brick and mortar business for years. He's like, come on the doors with me. And I'm like, no. I'm not a salesperson. I will never do that. But it turns out I am. I think we all are.
Yes. And I think it's so funny that you said you influence your children to do things. We actually had a training yesterday inside my membership site, and I was talking about the mindset of sales. And that's exactly what I was explaining. Like, you sell to your kids every day. When you get them to do something that they didn't want to do, that's you selling. And I think it is. It's that negative connotation that comes with the word sales. But when you place it onto influencing and it's just a conversation, you're telling them why you love something over something else, it's much easier conversation to have, and to then, of course, get the sale that goes along with it.
Exactly. You have to reframe your mindset when it comes to sales. I had to, because I used to tell myself, oh, I'm not a salesperson. I've never sold anything in my life. And then when I started realizing, no, I've been selling my whole life. We all have, whether it's which restaurant is the best one to eat at, or where did you get your shoes, And when you start thinking about it as influencing and you're just sharing the things that you love, and when you do that, people trust you. You can't be shady. You can't just try to sell everything to make a quick buck. But when you only share the things that you love, people are going to trust you and they're going to trust your opinion.
Yes, no, absolutely. So now when it comes to your lives, are you also boosting or using any of the targeting on Facebook that Facebook has the ability to use?
A little bit. I'll be honest, a lot of my growth is organic. And I've only had my Facebook business page for 3 years. The first 2 years I was really inconsistent on, and I saw minimal growth. Like I went from 0 to maybe 20,000 followers. And after I started my Facebook business page, I lost my ability to boost on Facebook. A lot of people don't know that. I had fraud on the card that was on Facebook. And so I realized it was actually a blessing in disguise looking back, because I realized, okay, if I'm going to grow this thing, I have to do it organically. So I think it's really important to learn how to grow your business on Facebook organically before you ever even talk about boosting. Because if you don't know who your online audience is, if you don't know who your ideal customer is, if you don't know how to write copy that speaks to her, that grabs her attention, if you don't know how to create copy that converts, slapping a Facebook ad on it is not going to help. So I really think, and I just got my ability to boost back this year, which was like a miracle. I'm like, oh, it's been 3 years, but I will try and appeal. So I don't do a ton of Facebook ads. It's a lot of organic growth.
I love that you said that. That's perfect. No, I think that is something that kind of people struggle with too, because some will have success with it and then others won't. And then it attracts the wrong people if they don't know how to set it up. And I do think it was definitely a blessing in disguise for you, because like you said, you organically grew that page with people that were interested in what you had to say and the content that you were creating. So now if you talked about copy, And you talked about the idea of making sure that it's something that speaks to your audience. And I know that you have a fabulous freebie that we are going to link to actually in the show notes. Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by copy that converts and works for your audience?
Yes. So before you can ever share about your favorite products, before you can share your business, your opportunities, your products or services, you first have to get someone to stop and pay attention to you. And that can be really hard on Facebook and on social media in this noisy world where things are moving at such a fast rate. And as humans, we have such a short attention span. And I think a lot of times when entrepreneurs write copy or they come up with their captions for their Facebook Lives, it's almost an afterthought. And honestly, it's one of the most important pieces of your Facebook Live because it can be the determining factor if the person watching you stops, they slow their scroll, they get interested and they click and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to see more, you know? So it's about grabbing somebody's attention. And so I do have a freebie. It's 50 titles, captivating titles that are guaranteed to grab attention. And hold one second. I'm sorry. I can't remember the thing that I set it up as.
No, that's perfect. Because what we're going to do is we're going to link to it anyways while we're listening, because a lot of people are driving. We don't want anybody driving off the side of the road. So we'll make sure that we actually link to it right in the show notes, so that we don't even need to worry about having the URL. It'll be linked right in the show notes for them in their podcasting app. So we'll make it really simple for them. So that's perfect. So when you're, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot. When you're talking about a title, if you were to, let's say you're going, could you give me an example of a title of like what it kind of would consist of? Is it a question that you ask? Is there almost kind of like a formula that you have to it? So if you were going to go on and you were going to show me your rosacea and you were going to cover it with like a foundation that you just love and think works so well, what might be a good example of like how to put together that title so that it really does stop the scroll, it captivates that audience for you?
Okay, so when it comes to creating an attention grabbing title, there's a couple things that you can do. You can ask a question. You can create curiosity. I think it really helps to have a number and then what you're going to teach. And here's the thing. I'm just going to share with you some examples from my freebie that I created.
That's perfect.
The best part about this freebie is it's fill in the blank. So it will work for any business. Okay, so little known tips to blank, right? Number of foolproof ways to blank. You want to try to think too about your ideal customer and what is she looking for online? What is she interested in? I say she because my ideal customer is a she. I understand that not everybody's is, but want to like caption your live video something that is going to grab their attention and make them want to click to see more.
Yes, that makes total sense. And I think the majority of my listeners too, most of their avatar are she's as well. So that's a perfect example. And I love the way that you're talking about. I never thought about the numbers too as part of what I would actually put together as that like statement. But it makes sense. It definitely does, because it's good. People are going to gravitate towards that. It's going to catch their eye as they are scrolling. I didn't even think of that. I use it all the time in testimonials, but never thought to use it as part of my headlines. So I'm walking away with a huge tip to test out. Thank you.
Good. Well, if you think about it, when I'm checking out at the grocery store and I see the magazines, they all have like 10 ways to get skinny before summer. You know what I mean? Like there's a number, 5 secrets that you need to know how to dress for the season. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, but you know what I mean? A lot of times headlines, and those are from professional marketers. They have a number to like pull us in and help us take away like, okay, these are the 3 steps that I need to become the perfect mom, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that is so helpful. And we're going to make sure that that is linked in the show notes that you guys can all that are listening to pop over to grab that download. Jenny, when it comes to your Facebook business page, are there any other kind of, so you're using your live, are you also doing feeds like photos to your post, or what does that look like as well when you're not having a live? You said being consistent. So what else are you putting out there?
Here's the thing that I forgot to mention too. So for the first 2 years on my Facebook business page, I was inconsistent. Like I see a lot of other business owners inconsistent, and I had little growth. And then in 2019, I decided, okay, I'm going to go all in on this Facebook business page. I'm going to be consistent. And the best part about that is you're the only one that can decide to be consistent. Like that is the gift of consistency. You're the only one that can give yourself that gift. And when I decided to be consistent, when I decided to get organized, when I decided to mega batch and not work in real time anymore and post multiple times a day and do it consistently, my Facebook business page exploded, and it went from about 20,000 followers to now I think we're at like 77,000 followers in a very short amount of time. So being consistent, when I say it's key, it really is key. So if you look at my page, yes, I do post a lot of them. I schedule in advance, which is one of the best things that I love about working from a Facebook business page, because I used to be a working in real time entrepreneur. I would wake up, I would say, gosh, what do I want to create today, to post today? But the problem is when you work like that, first of all, you're not creating your best work. Second of all, you're setting yourself up to be inconsistent, because I'm a mom. Things happen. School happens, kids happen, life happens. And then I lay down at the end of the night and I go, oh no, I forgot to post. So I really like to schedule a lot of my posts in advance. And I've had other influencers ask me, well, don't you get like less engagement if you schedule? But the thing is a lot of the things that I'm scheduling are engagement posts, asking questions, creating buzz. There's a couple different kinds of posts that I like to use that I can share with you if you'd like.
I would actually love that. Examples are always helpful for my audience for sure, because I'm sure they're thinking, well, does this look like memes, or am I just asking a question about how their day is going? So any examples would definitely be helpful for sure.
Okay, perfect. I think when it comes to your Facebook business page or any of your social media, first of all, decide like on 3 words that you want your online audience, you want your ideal customer. How do you want her to feel after she spends time on your page? Right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. And then I think it's important to come up with 5 different categories that you're going to post about, and you're going to rotate, because that's another mistake that I see business owners making is they only post about their business. And you're more than your business, especially if you're in network marketing, which I know a lot of mamas are, and you're selling the same product as hundreds or thousands or even millions of other people. What's going to make you stand out? What's going to make you different? And it's you. You are the secret sauce. So coming up with 5 different categories that you're going to post about. So I post about my business. I post things that make me laugh, because I love humor and I want to attract somebody who's happy and positive to my page. I want them to feel good after they spend time on my page. I post inspirational things, uplifting things. I want someone I want to give them a reason to click follow. I post about my weight loss journey, and I also post about my family. And so I share different aspects of my life. And then with engagement posts, I'm going to pull this up really quick. There's 4 different types of engagement posts that I like to use that create buzz. They create engagement. The first kind is a decision post. So I ask them to help me make a decision. Should I put on the nude nails today, or should I wear the red ones? Should I pair this shirt with these earrings or these earrings, right? Like some kind of decision needs to be made. They did it the other day. I couldn't decide what to title my podcast episode. And so I just went on there and I'm like, help, really quick. My podcast episode airs tomorrow. Which title catches your attention? Which title do you like best? And there was a clear-cut winner, which really helped me too. Will help you to also know your online audience better. The second kind is an opinion post. So asking for an opinion. People love to give their opinions. Help, I am potty training my toddler. What's your number one piece of advice? Right? People love to give their opinions. The third type of post is a permission post. So that's kind of where you are telling them where you were. You're telling them how you got out of it, or you're telling them something. Maybe you're being vulnerable and you're telling them something that you're struggling with. I did a permission post the other day on my Instagram, and I just opened up and I talked about, because while we're recording this, we're going through the coronavirus pandemic. And I talked about, as women, we wear all these hats, and how I was struggling with being my kid's teacher, and how I would go to bed at night and I would feel like, even though I'm killing it in all these other areas of my life, I'd feel like a failure because I'm behind on my kids' curriculum and I'm having a hard time teaching my 2 dyslexic daughters and trying to do their special education stuff on top of it. And I said, I don't know if anybody else is feeling this way, but if you are, I just want to remind you that even if you're not the best teacher, you're still a good mom. That we're going to get through this and you're still a good mom. And it's a permission post. And it kind of gets that like amen kind of engagement. And so many, the comments were like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling the same way. Amen. I'm feeling the same way. Or thank you for posting this. Exactly what I needed to hear because I was beating myself up about X, Y, and Z. So you're giving them permission to say, you're not alone. You're not crazy. And you're doing a good job. Keep your head up. Okay. Then the fourth type of post I like to do is like a can't help themselves post. So I'll post a picture of my car tank on empty and say, oh my gosh, I just got to the gas station. Which one are you? Like, are you the kind of person that waits till your car's on empty? Or do you fill your car up at 50%? Do you have 0 emails in your inbox or do you have 10,000? So there's different kinds of posts that we can post that will generate engagement. The best part is when people give you engagement, it helps your algorithm and it helps your page grow organically because they're engaging where you're doing business. Does that make sense?
It totally does. And I love that they were so specific. And the underlying piece, I think that it's in all of them is that one, you're being vulnerable and you're giving them, again, a chance to really get to know you. So it does, like you said from the very beginning, that they are people that are your friends that feel like they know, like, love, and trust you. And you're giving them that opportunity with these posts. And it's not content that's taking you forever to create. Like you said, it was a simple picture of your gas tank and which one are you? I love that. I think that those are simple techniques that you can put into and use on your Facebook page so that you can open up to your audience and really hook them into what it is that you're doing. So it's more about you as that person, setting yourself apart, and then tying in the products that you're using and influencing them towards the sale of those.
Yes. I'm glad that you said vulnerability because I think vulnerability is such a strength. It really is. When you let your guard down, when you let people see, that you're a human too, it's a connector and they feel like they can trust you because of it. So I don't shy away from the vulnerability. My beauty business blew up when what came out about my rosacea because I've hid it for years. Even on this Zoom call, I put on my foundation. It's the only thing I put on because I'm like, but when I finally was very vulnerable about my biggest insecurity, that's when my beauty business exploded because I found, wait a second, nobody has perfect skin, and every woman has insecurities that she's dealing with every single day. And so vulnerability really is a strength.
Yes. And I noticed that about your Instagram as well, which is one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I brought up is that you're giving great suggestions to be able to use on our Facebook business page, but this also can easily translate over to Instagram, especially your stories. So these are just some great strategies, Jenny. I appreciate it so much. What we're going to make sure that we obviously do is link to those 50 headlines that they can use, 50 titles, so that they can make sure that they get that, start using those captivating headlines that are going to capture their audience so that you do have the opportunity to be vulnerable and show who you are to your audience. Because that is what sets you apart from everyone else out there, is when they feel like they really, truly know you. So I appreciate you so much for taking the time to do this interview with me. I know it's so crazy right now with everything with the coronavirus and kids home and crisis schooling and everything else. And I so appreciate you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate you as well.
Of course. All right. Well, there you have it. Clearly, these are such well-defined strategies that you can use on your Facebook business page, but also they translate perfectly for Instagram and Instagram stories. So if you're really looking to engage that audience, so as Jenny says, to get them to know, love, and trust you, then these are things that are going to get them to know that and really understand the vulnerability that you can provide to them that's going to let your audience get to know who you truly are. And inside Influencer Entrepreneurs, my new book, I go into even more depth about really opening up and being authentic with your audience. I appreciate you guys so much for listening in. If you have any questions on this episode, you know I would love it if you would share it over on Instagram stories. You can tag me at Jenny Melrose, as well as you can tag Jenny Peterson at Jenny_Peterson. Sharing those on Instagram stories, and I will make sure to get back to you guys with any questions that you have. All right, until next time, I will see you all then.